Welcome everyone to Riri Story Time. Today we have a guest, Jessica B. All right, so Jess, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I am Jessica B. or Jess.
Jess, we said that already.
Okay.
But welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Riri's channel.
I'm currently a server. I used to live in Sanford, Florida. I hung out at the barn in the downtown areas, so I got to know some of the locals. And after I moved, I heard of a very chilling story of when I hung out at the barn in Sanford and what happened to one of the bartenders, and I thought you'd want to know about it.
And that's Michelle Parker.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get started.
In 2009, Michelle Parker was a 33-year-old female. Michelle resided in Orlando, Florida, with her 3-year-old twin boys and 11-year-old son. Michelle worked 2 bartending jobs to support her family. One job was at Jesse's Black Saloon in Orlando, Florida, and the other was in Sanford, Florida, at the Barn, a country music bar. When I used to live in Sanford, I remember visiting the Barn. I met Michelle as one of the bartenders. She was very nice, bubbly, and you could tell her friends and coworkers just enjoyed being around her.
That's cool.
Not only did Michelle have 2 jobs bartending at local businesses, she also was attending school as a student.
Wow. Let's talk about the other side of this story. Well, before we get too much into Michelle, let's talk about her ex, Dale. So way before Dale met Michelle, let's talk a little bit about his past. Reports say in 96, he joined the Marine Corps. So shortly after enlisting, he met his first wife. Pretty quick, huh? Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last long, as it ended in 1999. But can you believe that reports state that within 11 days of his divorce, he married his second wife?
Sounds like military sometimes.
But thank you for your service. And soon after, he was convicted of criminal domestic battery after he assaulted his second wife. So,
great record.
This led him up to being dishonorably discharged from the Marines, unfortunately. Public records show that Dale was known to have this violent past. Reports show that Dale was arrested on several occasions for trespassing, aggravated battery, possession of marijuana. He had a lot of mishaps. So due to these mishaps, he wanted a fresh start. So he does what everybody else does. Move to the Sunshine State, which we call home, Florida.
Where all of them decide to move.
That's where everybody comes. Yes. We're from Chicago ourselves. We're from the north, so shout out to Chicago. So this is where he would end up meeting Michelle. Of course, in the beginning of the relationship, Dale was the perfect gentleman.
Of course.
So, and we're always the perfect women, though, too. We always, I don't care what anybody says, people front. They always put that first, that they want that first impression to be good, and that's cool and all, but how are you going to act in 2 years?
Then you meet the real Dale or whoever.
Or the real Riri or the real
Jessica B. God bless you on that one.
Yeah. So, of course, it's said by a family that he had swept Michelle off of her feet during that honeymoon phase. That's what I love to refer to. Here's a weird fact, Jessica B. Did you know that researchers concluded that falling in love is much like the sensation of feeling addicted to drugs with the release of euphoria, including brain chemicals like dopamine and much more? That feeling of butterflies in your stomach, a racing heartbeat. You probably remember those symptoms well from your first middle school crush. As an adult, they're actually your body's way of telling you, bitch, you're falling in love.
Or at least run.
At the start of a relationship, a series of truly fascinating chemical reactions occur throughout your nervous system and hormones. Crazy, right? So like every relationship, this phase unfortunately comes to an end. And that would be the case for Michelle and Dale.
Dale and Michelle met in 2006 at Cowboys, a country music bar off South Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando, Florida. Michelle was bartending there at the time. The two started dating shortly after meeting, and friends and family said the relationship seemed healthy and happy and appeared the two were very much in love. In 2008, the couple welcomed the birth of their 2 twin boys.
They're not boys. One was a girl, one was a boy. Did you know that? I actually just found that out. Yeah.
I thought it was
So,
boys. I thought she had 3 boys.
Well, she has an older one who should be an adult today. And then the 2, they moved to Tennessee, but I want to say it was a grown-up boy. We can look that up. I want to say that's what I read. So, of course, everything seemed fine until 2009, when Michelle allegedly said Dale was holding one of the twins, when at the time he was only 15 months, when he started cursing at her and broke her passenger side window on her truck over an argument regarding the children. While yelling at Michelle, he said, "Your day is to come." Dale was upset that Michelle moved out of the home with the twins and moved in with her mother back in 2009. After this, Michelle attempted to get a restraining order against Dale, but guess what? It was rejected. It was also confirmed that also in 2009, Dale and Michelle were in the middle of having a custody battle over the twin children. Now, here's where it gets crazy. They both attended the People's Court TV show.
You're telling me this.
Yeah. So on November 17th, back in 2011, they went on the People's Court. They were having an argument over an engagement ring, I guess, that he had purchased for her. Well, they were staying at a hotel, and they were in the balcony, and they were arguing, and he asked her for the ring back, and she threw it at his ass. And, of course, it fell off the balcony.
Rightfully so.
So they couldn't find it, took her to court, and which, of course, was televised, and it was like, she said it was the worst mistake that she's ever done. She regrets going on there. The judge,
everything publicized.
Yep. Yeah. The judge ended up making them both pay, half, so $2,500. Now, this is the crazy part. So the day that the show was supposed to air, is the same day that Michelle went missing. Prior to it, airing, she did have a conversation with her mother, and she was telling her mom that she didn't even want to see the show, that she was humiliated, that she wished she never had gone to it. She was just completely, disturbed by it.
There's a lot of emotion that goes into all this, too.
Yeah, and then you're airing
your dirty laundry
to everybody. Yeah. So around 3:15 is the last time Michelle was heard from on that day, and they said that she spoke to her current boyfriend at that time, which was Nathan, but it was via text. And we all know how that goes.
So was it her or was it not?
Exactly. On that same afternoon, CCTV footage from Glen condominiums in Southeast Orlando is the last footage seen of Michelle. So they were able to confirm that she was there because that's where Dale lived. And she had dropped off the twins that evening. And then at 4:26, Michelle's brother texted Michelle to check in and see, where she was. And then Michelle gave him a one-word reply and just said, Waterford. Now, her brother knows that that's not that doesn't sound like her. She's not a one-word person, she's like...
Me neither. My husband can attest to that.
I am very overthetop.com when it comes to texting. Like, you're not going to get a one word from me. You're going to get a whole paragraph.
Yeah, but you're more like one word at a time. So I have to read 27 text messages to get one sentence out of you.
No, I like to send voice texts now. Like,
yes.
You can't understand me? Listen. Okay, so yeah, back to the story. So her brother assumed that she meant Waterford Lakes. Crazy thing, we actually, when we moved here to Orlando, that's exactly where we moved to, Waterford Lakes.
That's where all the glitz and glam of Orlando is.
Oh, well, I guess we were in the glitz and glam, and now we're in the glitz and glam of this beautiful place that we're at now. So, her brother kind of felt uneasy about the reply because, again, like I was saying, it's not normal for Michelle to give, these one-word replies. She was known for sending these lengthy texts. So, he suspected that this wasn't his sister. He immediately excuse me, people. This is called reality. It's called real world. People mess up. Okay, keep it going. So what he did do was he suspected that something was wrong. So at 7:30 that same evening, Michelle didn't show up to her shift at the barn. Now that's one where you used to kick it, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day. The barn was your place.
Good line dancing, always cold
beer. That's
beer.
right. You said it was a country
fun.
bar.
It was country. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, I'll go to a country bar. I listen.
Maybe we'll make a trip.
I don't know.
Time's sake.
No, old is right.
We'll have to go on like a weekday though, so not all these teen boppers are.
There you go. You're telling our age. So her coworkers actually said that this is not like her either. She's not one to lose track of time. This is when her family would figured out, like, okay, something is definitely not right here. So at 8 p.m., Michelle was finally reported missing. Unfortunately, since adults have every right to leave on their own, police had to wait 24 hours until they could investigate. That freaking sucks. I hate that rule.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say, the rule. There's some officers you see that, like, try and do the little things even though they physically can't do stuff yet, because most times people seem to turn up,
Yeah.
But then it's these chances that you should have taken the chance of not.
And not knowing, that's the crazy thing I know.
Right.
So the next day, which was November 18th, Michelle's Hummer was found in the parking lot at the Mall Millenia in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. That's the glistening clam I was talking about.
Yeah. So the Millennium Mall was about 8 miles away from Waterford Lakes, from that area, and somebody took. So I guess her truck had these decals on it from. She was doing a tan. She was running a business for tanning,
like spray tanning.
Mm-hmm. She had these white decals in the back of
to promote herself,
and they were removed.
And where's the cameras of this mall? Because I'm telling you, this mall is Versace. It's got Coach. It's got everything. I mean, but they got cameras.
But it's huge. That mall is.
Oh yeah.
Is huge. So.
It is.
Who knows what kind of surveillance they had back then, but I mean, this is over 10 years ago.
And they had cameras at Dale's place, but ever of her leaving, or just to verify she was there?
They don't say. Yeah. Police had checked where Michelle was last seen, though, on CCTV footage. They also obtained a search warrant to check Dale's house, being that she was last seen in that area. Police also checked Dale's parents' house, being that they were located in the area as well. Now, police later had found no evidence that can be located to Michelle's disappearance. So, after years had passed, Michelle is still missing to this day. Many people point the finger at Dale because he allegedly had said to Michelle during that heated argument, "Your day will come." So, unfortunately, though, the police just didn't have enough evidence. And I'm not saying he did it either, because if you don't have enough, not to say he didn't do it, but he might not have done it.
Right, but when you can't find anything about anything, that kind of suspicious.
Most definitely. So he wasn't charged. He remained a suspect, but he wasn't charged for this. So they did say that he was heartbroken, about Michelle's disappearance.
And from what I hear, some of my friends that still live back in Sanford, the barn still on her anniversary of missing still hosts kind of like a farewell to her.
Oh.
In celebration of her life, and because they don't know what happened to her. They don't know if it was the end or if it was just something that
kidnapping
she didn't do or what.
Yeah.
So they just kind of they make an announcement and toast one to her.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing that people still, keep her. I know that's one thing with her family, her mother, and her father, to hear them talk about, 10 years later. They made an interview back in November of 2021, and it's just sad to see the way her father was, he's playing the guitar, and he made a song for her, and then her mom is it's as if it happened yesterday. She's heartbroken. And this is why, we do what we do. We want to bring stories like this because if somebody knows something or has heard something, we definitely want someone to speak on it. Because Michelle is, very, very much missed from her family and friends.
And kids.
And most definitely her children, which still remain under Dale's care till today. So, in December 2011, there was a custody agreement that allowed the Parker family to see the twins regularly. And in 2012, officials investigated the home life of the twins based on a previous allegation of abuse by Dale. And after this, officials said that the twins could remain in Dale's custody. So this is when he pretty much was weaning them off from seeing the Parkers, and then he moved to Tennessee with them.
To really keep them away.
Yes, he definitely wanted to keep them away. You know how I was telling you about the interview her parents did last November? It was with Spectrum News 13, and Here's what was said.
Strumming on his guitar, Brad Parker sings a song he wrote for his daughter Michelle since she went missing 10 years ago. With her now gone, it's a way to still show his daughter love.
If she's up there, she can hear it. The pain doesn't go away. It's on there 24/7.
Michelle's stepmother, Gail, now someone Brad leans on. She still has Michelle's missing stickers on her truck. Stickers so faded, they show how long it's been.
10 years. 10 long years that somehow seem like it was yesterday, but by looking at that, you know it wasn't yesterday.
United in loss, but divorced years before Michelle's disappearance, we also caught up with Michelle's mother, Yvonne Stewart, at her home, where she says 10 years later, she thinks of her daughter at least 10 times a day.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of her so many times. You know, I talk to her. That helps. But it's still a big hole in our hearts, all of our hearts. It's hard for all of us, even 10 years later.
Pictures difficult for her to look at, but they still give Michelle a place in her heart and in her home. Some of them even still on the refrigerator door.
One of my favorites, because this is how I remember her. With that smile. And just fun. Yeah, she's...
Stewart says her other children and even some grandbabies help keep her going. Even this grandbaby, Diesel, who Parker rescued at a gas station just weeks before she went missing.
It's wonderful to have a piece of her. It'll be sad, when the day comes that maybe he moves on.
Stewart finds peace in nurturing what she still can, including banana and pineapple plants around her home.
I think anytime you kind of get back to the land and nature, this is what we're all here for, basically, is it kind of grounds you.
And each day that passes by, she believes she's one day closer to seeing her daughter.
But I'm looking forward to going to heaven one day and seeing her again.
But until then, they'll send her love any way they can, her father through this song. In Orange County, Jeff Allen, Spectrum News 13.
That's so hard to listen to.
I know. I'm shaking a little bit.
Yeah. So, she's still missing to this day. And, we have no idea what transpired, but...
All right, every listener, if you guys can just pay attention. To this day, Michelle Parker remains missing. She was last seen wearing a Florida Gators sweatshirt, blue jeans, and a silver cross necklace. If you have any information about Michelle's whereabouts or any information pertaining to this case or what maybe transpired that evening or days prior to it, please contact the crime line at 1-800-432-8477.